In the example, we will consider first point, that is, for example, if we use the muscles exercise continuously, we do exercise continuously, our muscles tend to be strengthened. If we won't do exercise continuously, our muscles tend to be decreased. Strength will be decreased constantly. In the same sense, that is, if the organ is used constantly, there will be development in that part, highly development. Okay, if it is not used, it undergoes degeneration. Modification thus produced by the above principles, that is, any modifications is transferred to the next generation, that is, of an individual inherited by its offspring, that is next generation, next individual, that is their family, that is one part, to parents to their offspring, that is children or their offspring. Modifications are transferred. Modifications thus produced by the above principle during the lifetime of an organism will be inherited by its offspring. Okay, these are the four principles given by, four propositions given by the Lamarck. Okay, four principles given by the Lamarck. Let's move into the other part. Lamarck believed that, whatever we can discuss about it in the detail way. Lamarck believed that the organic changes seen in animals are the result of influence of environment. Influence of environment is the important point. Okay, Lamarck believed that organic changes seen in animals are the result of influence of environment on species. Changes have been occurred due to influence of environment. Species respond to the environment. Okay, species respond to the environment because they have an inherent tendency to become more and more perfect. Okay, why there is a response to the environment? Because they need to be adapted to the environment. That for this adaptation, they requires to become more and more perfect, that is resistant to the environment. For example, long neck of giraffe, blindness in moles, webbed feet of the duck. Long neck of the giraffe, in the sense, if the giraffe is continuously trying to get leaves of the tall trees, the neck is continuously increased to catch up the long trees. In the same sense, he explained that one. Next one, Lamarck theory was simple. This was an important point. It is the simplest theory. It can be easily understood. It had some appeal as it provided way changes in organisms. How changes in organisms? He has given some examples in a detailed manner. He explained that one. So people believed, as there are so many examples he has given, so people, they will believe him. It was the first complete comprehensive theory that was offered. Okay, it was the first comprehensive theory that was offered. Okay, first theory, Lamarckism is the first theory. Thus Lamarck theory was popular accepted for about 70 years. Huge, that about 70 years the people has been, why they are been, he has given some common examples which are easily understood. Okay, next move on to critical analysis of Lamarckism. We are going to analyze the Lamarck. All four propositions failed the test of empirical validity. Okay, all four tests failed. Next, experiments disapproved Lamarckism. August Weismann, that is, in the experiments given by disapproved Lamarckism, that is example we have to remember importantly. Somatoplasm and germoplasm. We can discuss this one in the future classes. Okay. August Weismann. In part, try to remember now. We will discuss about when it comes that point. Somatoplasm versus germplasm. Okay, somatoplasm versus germplasm. Important point. Why it, example that is failed. Next is the Darwinism. We discussed about pre-Darwin phase. That is in the pre-Darwin phase, Lamarckism. Now we move on to Darwinism. That is Darwinism, Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace. Okay. In 1859, Darwin, origin of species, important point here. Origin, how the species have been originated. He explained clearly the preservation of favored races in the struggle for the life. Okay. First he discussed about the origin of life, then how the remaining organisms, some organisms have preserved. He explained that point. Okay, preservation of some races. That is theory of natural selection. Okay, we discussed in the theory of, we move on to the theory of natural selection. The change in species, let's study with along with me. The change in species by the survival of an organismal, okay, type exhibiting a natural variation that gives an adaptive advantage in an environment, thus leading to new environmental equilibrium, is evolution of natural selection. What is the statement says? Any changes occurring in the species by natural variation that results to the adaptive to the environment, that is new environment. Why? As environment changes from one sector to another sector. To survive that one, species also changes, adapts to the new environment. Okay, species also adapts to the new environment. That is any changes occurring in the organism behavior, something, anything, parts relating anything to the new environment. It stabilizes in the new environment, is the evolution of natural selection. What is it means? One organism changes its behavior or factors and adjusts to the new environment by adapting to the new environment. That is explained as a evolution of natural selection. Darwin has postulated 5 postulates, that is universal occurrence of variation, that is every organism undergoes variation for the survival in the new environment. Second one, excessive natural rate of multiplication. For the survival, there should be more and more multiplication of an organism, so that some organism changes their part, their their life, organism's life continues to change. Some organisms undergo modification that will survive, so there is a need to be multiplication. As there are more organisms, there will be chances of at least few will be survived in the future generation. Struggle for existence, what does this mean? They will, if environment is something, presently there is a good environment, there are so many organisms, okay, as a result some changes in the environment occurred. So if there is a changes in the environment is seen, the organisms tend to disappear. Due to sudden disappearance, there will be some adjustments. Why there is an adjustments? That is struggling for the existence. They are struggling to live. Initially they are struggling to live. As there is modification occurs, they will survive in the new environment. Until the modification, they are struggling for the existence, they are struggling to live. Okay, survival of the fittest. The organism which survives in the new environment will will live. That is, it will fit into the new environment. That is survival of the fittest. Inheritance of variation. That is, we can say in parts, the modification which has occurred is transferred to the next generation. Why it is transferring to the next generation? As there is that new environment, so to survive in the new environment, the offspring has to be modified in the same as the parent. Okay, now we move on to the critical analysis of Darwin. A veritable storm broke out with the publication of this book. Okay, at the time, first Lamarckism has believed due to the Darwin broke out. All the doubts he has cleared out, but was strongly opposed by ethical and regional grounds. Okay, it was opposed primarily on ethical and regional grounds. That is survival of the fittest. Why the survival of the fittest has been opposed? Because in the survival of the fittest, it means they thought that to be killed or killed. That is, if you want to survive, you have to kill or you have to be killed. Okay, they thought that in the sense, enormously interrupted by the people as tooth and claw, killed or to be killed kind of struggle. Okay, that is the thought in this sense, led to rationalization like every man for himself in the social and economic lives. Materialistic doctrine. Materialistic means, in the sense, materialistic doctrine, rationalization. They believe in every man for himself in the social and economic sectors. The social and economic. Greatest weakness, did not account for inheritance. Pangenesis hypothesis disapproved by Galton. Greatest weaknesses, did not account for inheritance. He said that the organism which has undergone transfer to the offsprings, this was disapproved by Galton. Okay, important point. Galton, disapproved by Galton's theory. Okay, critical analysis. We will discuss about the critical analysis of them. Talks about the survival of the fittest. It is talking about the how the organism has to the fit into the new environment, but it is not discussing about the how it has been arrived, how the modification has been changed, how the organism has been formed. It does not discuss about this point. Okay, it has failed in this point. Okay, over specialization on certain organisms only. He said about over mainly specialized on only some organisms. Okay, cannot rationalize with natural selection. He has only specified with certain organisms. Natural selection did not account for degeneration. Natural selection did not account for degeneration. He said that natural selection did not endowed for degeneration. Okay. Dilution, loss of traits without the intervention of selection. That is, if the changes have been not occurred, there will be loss of traits. He said that one. But with changes also, some organisms have been extincted. That is diluted. Okay. In this sense, he explained that he has failed that one. Indirectly accepting the law, that is inheritance of acquired characters. He said, Lamarck also said that acquired characters are transferred to their offspring. This is I am explaining about the Darwin phase. Now in the next class we can move into the post Darwin phase. This is my first video. I am going to cover almost all physical anthropology and everything which is necessary to the civil service examination, as my optional subject is also anthropology. Kindly share and like my video. I think so. This is my first class. If there is any mistakes, please consider my hard work on my part, to how I am trying my level best to explain to you. Okay, I think so. You have understood every point. I will try to explain more and more in the coming classes. Okay, thank you for being watching.